Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
I'm not leaving.
So now that Jerome Powell refuses to leave the podium, even if Donald Trump asks him to resign, here's something that you may not know. The Fed is not actually a part of the government. Unelected bureaucrats control your money and cause inflation. So there's only one solution to this, and that's to end the Fed. So with Donald Trump in office, we are going to see some major changes happen over the next few years, specifically with RFK and the Maha movement. No, not the Maha from Amanda Bynes growing up. We're talking about Make America Healthy Again. When you look at the Department of Health from 2021 to now 2025, it's going to be amazing to see America change for the better in terms of getting fluoride out of tap water, getting better food for elementary schools and for kids rather than those dino nuggies. I know, I get it. Look, I said the unthinkable. I know you like your dino nuggies.
My mom said I can't eat dino nuggies anymore. She said I need to grow up. That's fine, Mom. No more dino nuggies. No more grandma's ashes. Two can play that game, Mom.
We need some better food for the youth. And what we need is to pay attention to what I'm going to share with you in this video, because we need to talk about the CME Fed Watch tool and what Jerome Powell just did to affect the federal funds rate, credit and liquidity programs on the Fed's balance sheet, what this means for the crypto market, and what is happening over the next week, the next month, and the next year to be ready for so you can make the most amount of money possible. We're asking AI, who is your daddy? What does he do? Who's in charge of global liquidity expansion, specifically M2, and why? This is the number one indicator more important than Bitcoin's halving cycle theory, all the other charts that you're going to see out there, and what this has to do with Bitcoin going into price discovery and where Bitcoin will most likely go next this bull run. On top of that, what does this look like for XRP? Because this is Jerome Powell's final move before him, Gary Gensler. People at the top like Nancy Pelosi are held accountable.
Nancy.
Hi. Prison time's coming soon. Be ready. Donald Trump.
And we're also stinking wealthy at the end of this bull run that we can provide an amazing future for generations to come. So stick all the way to the end of this video. I have some altcoins to share with you guys that I'm extremely bullish on. Comment 777 if you're feeling blessed. If you're feeling bullish, let's run it.
I guess the only other question is to follow up on Victoria's question. Do you believe the president has the power to fire or demote you, and has the Fed determined the legality of a president demoting at will any of the other governors with leadership positions?
Not permitted under the law.
Not what?
Not permitted under the law.
All right, bull runners, welcome back. So Jerome Powell saying it's not permitted under the law for Donald Trump to get rid of him. We'll see about that. We'll see what happens. Either way, the Federal Reserve is on the loose and they're lowering interest rates again, 25 basis points. Now, coming up in December 18th is the next meeting. 64% are expecting another rate cut. Well, this is good for the crypto market, but when we look at the credit and liquidity program, the balance sheet of the Fed, they have been tightening on their balance sheet according to what this data shows. However, when we talk about what is happening with M2, global liquidity, eventually we're going to see easing from the Fed. We're going to see them adding to their balance sheet, and this will be an even bigger catalyst for money to be flowing into the crypto market because we have all the perfect bullish signals lining up for an explosive bull run. Now, I do have a warning for you because this doesn't end in all sunshine and rainbows with the 2-year to 10-year yield curve inversion. This will lead us to a massive, nasty crash and nasty recession, but you can make money before that happens if you know what to look out for.
The FOMC decided to take another step in reducing the degree of policy restraint by lowering our policy interest rate by 1/4 percentage point.
So with inflation data for the United States at 2.4% in September, we're going to be seeing October's data come in, I believe, in the next week. And so if inflation is closer to 2%, then the Fed is just going to continue to cut rates at 25 to 50 basis points, most likely 25 basis points. Now, if inflation comes in higher, they might hold the line or dial back a little bit. But one thing that's interesting to note, if we go back over the past 5 years when inflation peaked out in June of 2022, the climb started in February of 2021. Now, if we pair this up to the altcoin market, for the all-time high was roughly around November of 2021. But the first peak after, Bitcoin really broke out and went from 20K to 40K was in May of 2021. So by May of 2021, where was inflation? Inflation was at 5%, but even after the markets topped out, inflation continued to rise while the markets continued to crash. So inflation is a big sign where, as you can see, we're somewhat similar to what happened all the way back. If we go over the past 10 years, you guys can see at the top of the bull run before then, inflation was at 2.1%. During the bear market, inflation continued to climb up until June of 2018. And then when the market bottomed out, then inflation started to come back down. So eventually inflation will rear its ugly head again due to what the Fed is doing with their interest rates, M2 increasing. So my opinion, which I could be wrong about, again, not financial advice, go consult your financial advisor. Crypto is risky. You could lose all of your money in these markets. But as the Fed lowers interest rates and inflation comes back down, when we zoom out to max going all the way back to 1920s, we can see us go through these ebb and flows of high inflation, low inflation, high inflation, periods of low inflation. So eventually we will go back to a period of high inflation, and that will most likely be an effect of what the Federal Reserve is doing right now. So the Fed is the arson and they are the firefighter. They're causing the fire, and then they put the fire out, blaming it on something else other than themselves. And so that's why it's time to end the Fed. Now, if we look at the unemployment rate, it's down from 4.3, 4.2. It's holding line at 4.1. So when November's data comes in December, we're going to see this a little bit later. If it's at 4.1, things are still good. They're trying to keep it below. The Fed's trying to keep unemployment below 4.4%. If we start getting above 4.3, then that's when recession fears are really going to come into play, as you look at what happened when we spiked from 3.5 to 14.8. And then you can see when I zoom out to max, each one of these gray boxes is when a recession happened, unemployment spiked up. So unemployment is starting to curve up on the macro, but in the micro, on the month to month, it's still at 4.1. So we're going to be watching this closely. Eventually, this is going to go up over time, as it has every single time in the future. The challenge here is predicting when and how drastic it's going to be and how big of a crash that's going to cause in the stock market and in the crypto market. Now, what's the catalyst right now for this bull run is M2. So who's in charge of global liquidity? M2 is the money supply. It's primarily influenced by monetary policies of individual central banks. So each central bank of these countries manage their own country's money supply and liquidity conditions to achieve domestic economic objectives like controlling inflation, fostering unemployment. For instance, the Federal Reserve oversees the United States M2 money supply, while the European Central Bank manages that of the Eurozone. So the interconnectedness between central banks means that while no single entity controls global M2 expansion, the combined policies of central banks and major economies collectively influence global liquidity levels. And when global liquidity expands across all countries, that turns the crypto market into a tsunami of profits if you are in early. Now, if you're late, then you just get dumped on by the VCs and, BlackRock, Fidelity, Van Eck, all these massive companies that have been buying the dips with millions of dollars every single day, even billions of dollars through their ETFs. So when we look at what determines if M2 expands with the Federal Reserve, well, the broader money supply is based on several key factors influenced by the Federal Reserve. For example, lowering the federal funds rate, which is what they've been doing to encourage overnight loans for banks that would be cheaper. Borrowing and lending can expand this. Conversely, raising rates can slow down lending and reduce M2 growth. Now, also quantitative easing, the Fed buying government securities or other assets, injecting cash into the banking system can boost M2. When the Fed engages in quantitative tightening, selling assets, M2 growth can slow down. So there's like this balance here where the Jerome Powell said that they've been tightening on their balance sheet, but also they've been lowering interest rates. So imagine when they start expanding on their balance sheet while they've been lowering rates. That, in my opinion, is what's going to catapult the crypto market cap, past 3 to potentially 5 trillion, maybe $10 trillion on the bullish level. Well, if we look right here, we can see a cup and handle from the all-time high in November 2021 for total 2, everything other than Bitcoin, so all altcoins. We saw this bear market, we bottom out, we form a recovery. Sure enough, you guys can see M2, this yellow line right here at the top of the screen, Bitcoin bottomed out roughly in October of 2022, right before the crypto market bottomed out. So this is a leading indicator on what happens. And as you can tell, M2 broke out from the high just recently in July of 2024, while the crypto market and the altcoins have been selling off. So now that altcoins have been in a recovery since August of 2024, in my opinion, this is just the start. And in a cup and handle formation, what we usually do is we take the height of the cup. So for example, it could be, let's say because it is a descending resistance, sometimes we'll see descending, ascending, or horizontal resistances for the cup and for the handle. But in this case, let's just be conservative here and let's just measure from the middle of the cup to the bottom of the bear market bottom right here. The breakout point is essentially where we put this. No guarantees, obviously, but that would put us at roughly $3.5 trillion for the target on the breakout of this. Now, how long that will take, that's anyone's guess, leading us somewhere into the middle to Q4 of 2025, I would expect. But what we want to look for is a break and a close of this descending resistance to hold this as support to see the next leg up in the market. And very similar to what we saw happen from October 9th of 2023 until the 11th of March, the markets move relatively fast, where you don't have a lot of time, because on the weekly, week after week after week, we just see green candles, and then these little temporary cool off periods that last, like this one, from the 25th of December to the 29th of January. So for about a month we cool off. So on the next leg up, in my opinion, it's going to be very, very quick. It's going to be very, very rapid. We're just seeing the start of that right now. We do need to break this descending resistance to give me confirmation that we're going to continue going higher in the short term, and there's not going to be like some crazy pullbacks, like maybe there's black swan events that no one can prepare for. But on the macro, to be a long-term investor, we zoom out. Look at M2 since the 1980s. It just continues to trend up. During the bear market is when it pulled back a little bit, but now that we're starting to trend back up again, this is going to continue into, the trillions, right? We're going to move from $35 trillion in debt to over $50 trillion over the next few years by 2030. And look what happened the last time the M2 broke out back in November of 2019. We saw the Bitcoin price chart attempt to break out, and then sure enough, there was a black swan event. So the thing that could halt this breakout would be some type of black swan event. Now, nobody can prepare for that. That's why you need to have money on the sidelines to at least be ready to buy the dip. So for those of you that want an opportunity to have money on the sidelines by helping businesses get money back from a $5.5 billion settlement that Visa and MasterCard lost, check this out. We've been sharing this with businesses over the past couple of weeks, and we've helped businesses that have processed over $196 million in credit card volume from 2004 to 2019 get qualified to receive back what was overcharged from them. So right here, it's 3.4 million. Now, obviously, it's going to be up to this number. It's not going to be exactly that because it's roughly 1 to 1.5%. But if you want to stack more crypto for this bull run, before the bull run is over, accumulate more XRP if the price stays suppressed a little bit longer and it takes a while for XRP to break out, or you want to accumulate some other assets that are moving right now, like for example, SUI. If I refresh this page, at the time I started this video, it was $2.30. SUI's at $2.59. So when I say you guys don't have much time to prepare, that's just the truth. It's up 35% over the past week. So listen to this.
Hey bull runners, this is super time sensitive, especially if you're looking to stack more crypto before the bull run is over. Did you know that Visa and MasterCard lost a $5.5 billion class action lawsuit for imposing unfair fees on merchants and business owners? So if you own a business, or if you know any business owners that process payments with Visa or MasterCard between 2004 and 2019, that's 15 years, you could actually be owed a refund of 1 to 1.5% of your total revenue from that period. That's a lot of money. For example, this business that generated $1.6 million in credit card revenue during those years is getting back $28,000. This business that generated over $7 million is getting back $93,000. And this business that generated over $20 million during those years is getting back over $320,000. That's money they didn't even know was on the table. And all they did was fill out a form through the link below this video. It literally takes less than a minute to see if you qualify, but you don't want to wait too long because the deadline to file is February 4th, 2025. So the sooner that you fill out the form below, the sooner that you can reclaim what's rightfully yours. Plus, if you don't have a business, you can actually earn 3% by referring businesses that do qualify by creating your affiliate account through the link below. So this is a no-brainer way to get money back in your pocket to use for your business, or if you want to use it for crypto or other assets to invest in, you can do that. So click the link below. Let's get you paid.
So in order to get more money in your pocket, you have to focus on what's happening with the winners. In this case, Bitcoin is the winner right now. And so XRP will be a winner, but it's still suppressed because of the lawsuit, lack of legal clarity, but that's coming. So patience is the key. But to make money, we need to pay attention to what's happening with Bitcoin, with gold. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is officially bigger than its gold ETF, 33.2 billion assets in just 10 months. It was the quickest growing ETF in history. And so if BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is officially bigger than their gold ETF, what is that telling you about where they are positioning themselves for the future in blockchain tech and crypto? Now, just in, Google searches for Bitcoin are surging as the price hits $76,000 to make a record high this week. And so interest is coming back from retail. Now, let me ask you this. Why would BlackRock be buying more Bitcoin and adding more to their ETF and all of that than gold if they didn't know something was coming? They're smart, right? 11 trillion in assets under management. They believe that there's going to be a wave of retail to buy the crypto that they are holding up so they can do what? So they can eventually sell it at some point, take some profits on it, or just hold it for the next 10, 20, 30 years and have a portion of their portfolio that they sell. Either way, we're going to see major news and media stations that BlackRock owns, because they're the biggest investors in these companies, start to pump out their marketing plan for Bitcoin. It's starting right now. CNBC is out here having conversations about Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset to fix the US debt.
It's going to be very difficult to fix the deficit with just changes in taxes and spending. But it's probably why Bitcoin is kind of interesting here, because it's potentially a treasury reserve asset. And, if Bitcoin rises in price, it actually helps offset the liabilities, which is the deficit.
So you were at 150, I think, on Bitcoin, weren't you? But
yeah.
Not necessarily by the end of this year, or?
I think 6 figures is still possible before the end of the year, yeah.
And then more next year and the year after?
Yeah, I think because now, post-halving and now Bitcoin's becoming a lot more relevant, and I think maybe the regulatory overhang is diminishing, that there's a lot of upside from here, yes.
Now, you guys obviously understand that Bitcoin's going to do well, but this cycle, it's not going to make you generational wealth. It's not going to do a 100x. If you guys want to spot the next 10x, 50x, 100x gem, and you're ready to become a crypto millionaire this bull run cycle, again, I make no guarantees, but we will provide you with a platform to take your knowledge and your portfolio to the next level. And you have 1 day, 3 hours left, depending on when you're watching this video, to get on the early bird list, where we're going to email you instant access to this first, and then we go live to the general public. We do have some bonuses for the first 1,000 people that get started with us for our crypto education platform and our inner circle. You guys are gonna love it. The content in there is not just something you can find for free in some old outdated videos. It's relevant, it's timely, and we also have live weekly calls with our research team that you're gonna absolutely love. So if you wanna see our top altcoin picks first before these videos come out, because by the time these videos come out, it's usually too late. Like, a lot of these projects move. We were catching Sui around under $1, guys, and then sharing some stuff in the Telegram group to help you guys out for free. But for those of you that get started with our crypto education platform, we're going to give you the best of the best to help you become the massive success story in our community to get bigger results, right? Because if you win, that makes us more credible, that helps us win. So our goal is to help you guys make as much money as humanly possible. And look at the markets, they're all taking off, but there are certain projects that we see that will outperform a majority of the large caps that are mid cap to micro cap projects. So when we spot those, we'll share those with you guys, because you have to take control of your financial future. The Federal Reserve is not going to save you. The government's not going to save you. For example, the Federal Reserve, it's not a reserve. It's not a bank. It's privately held by the Jewish people, and it is their epicenter of power over the people. So we, the people, are sick of it. And this is why the crypto market is poised for not only massive adoption from the blockchain tech, but massive expansion based on what's happened every single bull run cycle prior to this. When we get to the all-time high, we go through these consolidation periods that are long, that are grueling, that are boring, and then we see the first initial breakout into price discovery, and we start marching higher until we see explosive growth and massive green candles come in. We go all the way back here when the market cap was at just $500 million. We consolidated from July of 2016 until December of 2016 for 5 or 6 months, very similar to what we've gone through the past 6 months, similar to what happened through this consolidation period was even longer during this phase before COVID hit, even right here before we broke out. Then once we broke out, you can see the short-term temporary monthly consolidation period. Where I think we are in this cycle is literally like right here. Through this consolidation period that will last roughly a month until Trump goes into office, we could see some volatility, but I just think we're going to continuously march up higher and higher and higher through this consolidation phase until boom, something happens where we see weeks of bullish price action come in, and we can see the tip of the iceberg happening right now when we go over the past week on what narratives are surging, and virtually everything's up. Look at this. It's just a sea of green right now. Meme coins are going to be one of the biggest ones. Real world assets, artificial intelligence, gaming projects. So one of the main altcoins that we need to watch is Ethereum. It's a contrarian play right now. This is a very good entry point for Ethereum. Ethereum will be one of the big winners, according to VanEck's CEO. Listen to this.
Bitcoin is sort of digital gold to me, and it's a store of value asset. What I've said about Ethereum is don't buy it unless you really understand its business proposition and its competitors, the other databases that might be the rails for crypto. I do think, however, that overall, big picture, stable coins are the new global payment system. And one of the big winners is going to be Ethereum and Coinbase as well. Ethereum's market share kind of bottomed in September. We look at stuff like that. And so it's a little bit of a contrarian play. Ethereum has outperformed over the last several weeks. And I think it's a good entry point actually for Ethereum if you understand the pros and cons of it.
Now, when we look at the Ethereum to the Bitcoin price chart, I showed you guys this in one of my previous videos. It's been in a downtrend. We've been seeing lower highs. We've been seeing, lower lows, but eventually this will reverse. And what this means is when Ethereum, similar to XRP, when Ethereum starts to outperform, whether the bottom's in right now or we have a little bit further to go, when Bitcoin breaches above 80K or 90K, we'll see. We don't know how low Ethereum's chart will go. We do know that every downtrend ends at some point and it starts a new uptrend. So one thing we can know is that at some point Ethereum's downtrend will end, and eventually, even if we go lower, we will go into an uptrend when Ethereum starts to melt faces. Now, the biggest power play here is not necessarily buying Ethereum, right? I'm not going to tell you what to buy or sell in these videos. I'm just going to bring you education so you can do your own research, but it's understanding what plays on these blockchains are going to absorb liquidity when money flows out of Bitcoin and Bitcoin's dominance drops, and then that starts to flow into the top large caps, then eventually the mid cap and the small cap projects. Well, for example, Solana has been a big outperformer even before Ethereum, but Solana's network always goes through these like congestion phases causing failed non-vote transactions. It's literally impossible to do anything on Solana's 50K transactions per second. It's just marketing. So XRP fixes that. It's never failed. Once Solana bros and investors wake up to the truth, it will skyrocket XRP's adoption. So a lot of people are frustrated with XRP's price action, but hey, we play the markets and then we can rotate back into XRP the longer that XRP stays suppressed. For example, we shared SUI with you guys right at these levels right here before SUI started to break out, and SUI is now breaking out again at $2.57. Now, a lot of people think they're late to the party. I made a video about this, comparing this to Solana's market cap. Look at what happened to Solana from the launch back in April of 2020 on the crypto market cap chart right here on TradingView to January of 2021. This breakout that pushed Solana past the all-time high of August was massive, just massive green candle pushing it into the billions of dollars in market cap. And that wasn't the end of it, right? A lot of people expected this candle to just do something like this, then fizzle out from right here and then come back down. That wasn't the case. Look at how much higher Solana's market cap went. It marched all the way up to 17 billion, cooled off, of course, back to 5 billion. So it had a pullback, which is completely normal on the way up, of 66%, because look at how many green candles in a row came in there. But eventually it topped out that bull run, parabolic blow off top, and then the bear market started. So now we're starting the next leg up for Solana. But the real power play here is, in my opinion, in SUI right now. So SUI is just starting this breakout. So I'm not saying, no, it's most likely not going to do this right here, this massive, although anything's possible. I think this whole bull run's going to be prosperous for SUI. But look right here, Solana's market cap was $150 million. SUI's market cap right now is obviously a little bit higher if we just scroll up on the coinmarketcap.com here. Where is SUI? It's all the way up here at number 16. It's at a $7 billion market cap. So it's going to take a lot more money to move SUI, but nonetheless, SUI is fast, it's cheap, it's one of the best projects in the space that all the attention is on right now. And so I do think we're going to see prices, no guarantee where it's going to go to, but much higher than where we are right now. Even if we draw the Fibonacci retracement tool from the launch high to the low, let's just say it does a full extension this bull run cycle, that's about $7.30. I mean, that's not too bad from where we're at right now. This is just an example. I'm not telling you it's going to do this. That could just be the next major move for SUI, but that's 180% from where we are right now. For example, if I draw the Fibonacci retracement tool from Solana's launch to the low, look at what happened, guys. It did this move up right to a 4.236, and that's where it cooled off. So maybe, just maybe, the next move for SUI is, over the next few months up to here, and then through the summer of 2025, that's where it cools off for a little bit before making a final parabolic blow off top, like what happened with Solana to the end of the bull run, extending well beyond a 4.236. So we don't know how much higher SUI could go beyond this. I mean, anything's possible depending on how big the overall market cap of the industry gets to. Remember, guys, the crypto total market cap needs to go to like 3 trillion, 5 trillion, or if it gets up to $10 trillion, the majority of that liquidity would flow into large caps like Ethereum, like Solana, like SUI, and eventually XRP. Now, looking at XRP's price chart, XRP is still sitting at 55 cents. This has been extremely grueling, even more grueling than this period right here, even more grueling than what happened last bull run during this period right here, because it's been longer than both of those. I mean, if we measure from the bottom to where we are right now, we're at like encroaching in on 900 days. If I were to measure when XRP started to break out before the lawsuit was filed, like 900 days, that's going back virtually to like this complacency stage bounce during that whole entire bear market. So XRP really hasn't had a bull run. And if I were to measure from the all-time high to the high of 2021, and then let's go ahead and measure from COVID's low to where we are right now, I mean, this is basically just this macro symmetrical triangle going all the way back 7 years. And so if we were to just measure, let's say from the top of the triangle to the bottom of the triangle and put it at the breakout point, depending on when that happens for XRP, where that could put the price. I mean, my price prediction for XRP has always been anywhere from $5 to $30 for this bull run. And that's just the start of it. That doesn't include the trillions and even quadrillions of dollars in money that is off ledger that could be coming on ledger if the whole conspiracy theories about like Nasara Gassara come true. I'll tell you what, guys, I've had some crazy conversations over the past week that I can't disclose, but there's some plans in the works through very high connected, influential people behind the scenes that are planning a complete global financial reset. Now, all we can do until that happens is continue to back up our truck all the way to the bank, grab the bags, pack them and stack them, take advantage of opportunities like this. The links will be in the description below. Get started with this, guys. If you have a business, it takes 60 seconds to fill out. We've had 270 businesses go through that have processed 196 million in volume, 3.4 million in total interchange fees overcharged by Visa and MasterCard. That is insane. And also, we're opening the doors to the general public. So by the time you're probably watching this video, this countdown timer may have expired if you're not watching this video right now, but you can still get on the early bird list. If you're seeing this when it's published, just click the button on the page, put in your best email address, expect an email for us to get access to exclusive bonuses so you can take your portfolio to the next level. As the spending power of the dollar continues to go down in value, it's a fact based on inflation, blockchain tech, distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrencies are going up in value. That's the truth. And together, we're all running to the top. I'll see you guys on the next video. I will see you on bullrunners.com. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.